Hey there, I'm Unioto. This is Jay Bizzo, and this is the Panther Podcast. The volleyball team came off their state championship run with a runner-up finish. They were down 2 sets in the Final Four and came back and won.
Panther football beat Fairfield Union last week, 39-0, and they go against the undefeated Sherman Tanks this week at the Rock.
Let's take it away to my favorite award-winning tall guy, Sam Rupe.
Hello everyone, I'm Lexi Foreman. I'm here with Sam Rupe and the state championship volleyball team. I'll have them go around and introduce themselves.
Coach Board.
Jorja Burkhart.
Lena Finck.
Caroline Dupler.
Gracie Newlon.
Chloe Dick.
And Paige Binkley.
Well, my first question is for Jorja. So Jorja, you all have grown up playing together. When you look back on this run, what's the one moment that captured the heart of this team for you?
Probably our reverse sweep in the state semis. Like after that, like just the big group hug after, like that was just like a sigh of relief that like all of our hard work paid off.
So Coach, this team's chemistry showed on the court every night. How would you describe the bond that these girls share and how it translated into the way that they play?
Yeah, I mean, they're an incredibly close group, and I think one of the themes that we've talked about the last couple of years was LEO, which is love each other. And we had talked about that of like really trying to make sure that everything that we do on the court is LEO, but I felt like this year was the first year that they truly embody that every single day, and I think they protected that. They wanted to make sure that they showed that everything that they did was together, and that they protected everything that they did together on the court, off the court. And so it just was really special, I think, to see that come out, and just that's why they were able to be as successful as they were, just because they truly loved each other and they knew, you know, whatever the situation was, if they were in that together, that they were going to be able to overcome.
Well, Lena, the community support was unreal. The student sections, the families, and pretty much the entire town. What did it mean to feel the community of New Lexington behind you every step of the way?
It meant a ton, especially when we were down in sets. Like, they didn't drive all that way because they had no faith in us. They drove all that way because they knew what we were capable of. They believed in us. So even if you started to doubt yourself, you looked up and you saw all those people. You looked to the bench. You saw all those people that like did have trust in you and belief in you.
So Coach, there are always turning points in the season. Was there a moment where you and all of them felt like, okay, we can do this, we can go all the way to the state championship?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we have felt and known that we could do throughout the whole summer. Just summer and preseason, we put a lot of competition on our schedule, and I think each day that they were playing during the summer, during scrimmages throughout the year, that they just were like, hey, I'm competing with everybody that I'm playing with. But I feel like if there was a turning point, I think the second time that we played Meadowbrook at home, that was, you know, devastating to lose that game, right? Because we knew that we wanted to have an NVL title. That was one of our goals, and so for that to fall short, that kind of sucked. And I remember going back into the locker room and like looking each one in the eye and said, we don't lose again, right? Like, we are not going to lose, like, from now until, you know, the end of the season, like, we're not going to lose again. And I felt that they really bought into that and really bought into, when we're at practice, like, we must get better, right? Because we've seen that we've got beat twice now and fell short of a goal. But if we are going to really accomplish what we want to, like, we got to start really diving into our weaknesses. And so I felt like they did a really good job of that. And to me, I felt like that was a turning point for us.
Well, Chloe, stepping onto that state championship floor is something no NVL volleyball team has done since Sheridan in 1993, and before that was Riverview in 1984, before the rally scoring era. What was going through your mind at that exact moment?
Well, it certainly is a privilege to be in that moment, but I was looking back at all the moments that we spent together as a team getting better, lifts, practices, films, everything. So all that was kind of in my mind, but also all the support that we had. And also I knew it was going to be a hard game because it was the last one we were going to play together, but just I was so thankful and blessed for that opportunity to be able to play in that level that everybody dreams of. So it was great.
Coach, this team has made school and league history. Mm-hmm. What about their mindset or preparation allowed them to rise to that level?
That's a good one. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to say just one thing. I just feel like when they had believed in themselves and had the confidence in themselves, that I think anything that was set in front of them was just something that they felt like that they could take on. And so I guess the mindset of just like taking on a challenge mindset, right, of just like any challenge that was set before them, I think that they felt like that they could come out on top. And I know we've talked about it on several podcasts, but like I feel like the mantra for us this whole year has just been like resiliency and like how can we overcome in any challenge, right? Whether that is an opponent that's better than us, or we're down 0-2 in a set, or we just need to stay locked in during a set because you might be better than a team. And so I just felt like whatever was presented to them as a challenge for that night, that they just kind of took on. And so I think that mantra helped us be successful, helped them to kind of be successful no matter if it was practices or games or anything that was kind of set in front of them.
Caroline, younger players were watching every point of this run. What do you hope the next generation of New Lexington volleyball players take away from your example?
I mean, I feel like every senior goes into just saying, like, don't take anything for granted, but it's, like, seriously true. Like, we all are wishing right now, like, we had another week left, or just, like, another practice, another game. And, I mean, there's a lot of, like, I don't know, there's a lot for them to, like, I don't know, see ahead of them, because there's a lot that we accomplished for them to look up to, and they all want to accomplish that too. So I feel like there's just a lot of work to be put in, and they're really young, but we all know they can do it.
So these seniors have clearly raised the standard. How does this run, and just them as a whole, how does that reshape the future of the program?
Yeah, I've been reflecting on this a lot the last couple of days. When I first took over this program, like, I think back to those kids, and like, they were my buy-in kids, like truly, like those first couple of years, like they were my buy-in kids, because like they didn't have anything to look forward to. Like they didn't know what was possible, and I just kept talking to them about this vision of what was possible. And it was so special to think back to those groups, because like they had no idea what was possible. They just were trusting me and believing that. And I just felt like every year, everybody has kind of raised that standard, raised that legacy just like a little bit more. And I think back to those kids that, worked just as hard as these kids, but just like it just wasn't in the future, it wasn't in the cards for them yet. And so just super thankful, I think, for those guys for buying in. And then each level just like trusting that they could, push it a little bit further. And so that's been really kind of special. I feel like I've had a lot of my past players like reach out to me the last couple of days and just like, hey coach, like I'm so, I'm so excited for you, like so proud of the program, like so thankful for the things that you've done for me in my life. But like, I think I'm like, man, I'm so thankful. Like if it wasn't for you guys, like buying into the vision that we had and like putting in that work, like, and you guys setting the standard for that, like we wouldn't be where we are, right? It's just because each person has kind of like leveled it up. And so I think these guys have seen that kind of progress happening, but they had envisioned more for themselves of like, this is what we're truly capable of being able to do. And so like I'm thankful for that, because now that is the standard, right? Like you can make that, and it shows you like even if you're from small town New Lexington, like, and you have been in a program like that wasn't successful before, like if you put in the time, you put in the work, and you put in the belief and the confidence and the trust and the love like that they have, that they've poured into this, like it's possible. And so I think for them to elevate that level is so special, because now other people are like, well, look what they did, like look what was possible for that. And it makes me excited of like, well, if we keep leveling up, like what can happen, right? And that's not going to come easy, right? It took them so long to be able to get that, and it's taken so long, but I think it's going to be really special. And for them to know like that they have raised that standard just in the same way that the other ones, although they didn't make it to a state championship game, like they raised the standard in some way. And so I just think that's a really special part of our program that I'm hopeful that continues to elevate.
Gracie, you didn't just play volleyball, you shared a journey with your closest friends. What did it mean to share this experience with the girls you've grown up with?
It meant the absolute world. I mean, just like Coach Wolf said, we've been working for this before we even knew it was possible. So, yeah, these girls, I mean, we spent every day together, so next fall when it comes around, it's going to be difficult to not do that. Yeah, these girls, Coach Wolf, it was just, I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anybody else.
So from a coaching standpoint, what's the biggest lesson that these seniors taught you?
These guys are so special. I feel like that they've taught me so much. probably the biggest lesson I feel like is compassion. I feel like the last couple of years I have changed my style of coaching with these guys, right? I feel like I used to be, and they've seen it, just super intense about everything and just like in your face about everything. And I just feel like, and probably it's part of it having kids, but like I feel like these guys are my kids in a lot of ways. And so I think that they've helped me learn like compassion, and there's other ways to coach. And truly, I feel like this entire summer, they were just so skilled already, right? Like there wasn't, I don't feel like a ton of skill work that I needed to teach them throughout the summer. So like literally the entire summer, I just was taking notes on like, what makes Jorja tick? What frustrates her? What does she start doubting herself over? Lena, why does she start shutting down in this moment? Or what do I need to do? Like, and so I just was taking notes for every single one of these kids and trying to think about, well, how can I help them overcome that in that moment? Or like, how can I catch them in that moment so that we can rise to the occasion, right? Because it wasn't a skill work thing. It was going to be like a mental belief, confidence thing. And so I think that truly was, it's just like they've taught me how to be more compassionate, how to coach in a way that helps reach them in a deeper level. And so I'm grateful for that. That's not, like I said, there's plenty of things that they have taught me, but I think that has been truly one of the ones that has impacted me the most. I think so many people reach out to me as like, I don't know how you stayed so calm this whole time. And it's like, but like I knew I needed to do that for them in that moment because that's what they needed as a coach. And so I'm thankful for that because it's a lot more pleasant to coach too. I'm sure deal with as well.
Yeah.
Paige, the season didn't end with the result you wanted, but the legacy is undeniable. What are you most proud of when you look back at everything that this team has achieved?
The hours that we all put in, countless summers, countless practices, lifts, and everything, and we didn't take anything for granted. We just enjoyed every moment, every step of the way. Like, we love each other through it, so it was so fun.
And they truly didn't take anything for granted. And that was really special. I think that's one of the first groups that's like truly been able to embrace every single moment. So I think that's really special for them.
You can tell just by their demeanor. You can tell, even just watching them. So when you think back on this team years from now, what's the one image or moment that will stay with you the most?
Oh gosh. I think I'm gonna think about that state semifinal game like forever, probably. I keep looking back at the pictures of it too, and I was kind of frustrated, I think, leading up to it that we weren't playing at Wright State in the semifinals because I was like, what is this? Like, we're going to a high school, but like the pictures were so sick in that gym because it was like, so, it was just old school like mentality of it. And so I just feel like, I don't know, that kind of shaped a lot of things. Like, you think about this gym that felt like it's from like the 1920s, like, I don't know, the locker room was like, it was something. And so, but then it reminds me like that was so much work, so much like foundation of like what we were a part of. And so like I just felt like I had these like interlocking themes like within it. And so I think that game will, like the fact that we were in there and understanding that was this foundation of like hard work and grit and these things that they have put in, but then for them to achieve success and then like see themselves getting to go to Nutter that next day and it being, you know, just kind of like elevating, right, in the same way that we're trying to elevate our program, as well as like it was the key to like the mantra that I was talking about with resiliency, going down 0-2 like in those moments, seeing them so excited. I remember as soon as we won, like actually I can't remember if it was we won or it was in the fifth set and there was a timeout and Jorja's like, you know, get up, and I was like, that's the first time like I had seen like that from her. And so I think there just was so many special things, and like you guys keep sharing pictures and I don't even know where you guys are getting all these pictures, and I need to find them because I'm like, hey, these are just sick photos. And so I don't know, I think that game just encompasses everything that I think we've been about. So
absolutely.
Well, we're going to go down the line here and have each of you answer. If you could describe this team in one word, what would it be and why?
That way.
Okay, I would say passionate because like I do like feel like, I mean, over the summer, I feel like you talked about this one time, but we went to Cedar Point and we got our butts whooped. Like we were in the national division and it was like, it was insane. And like teams out of that division were in the Final Four, and like we actually got to like see them play and stuff, which was cool. But like just seeing like the passion that we had to like get better, like we took that moment and we were like, we should be right here, and we took that and we ran with it.
I was going to go with trustful, but then me and Caroline can't decide if that's a real word or not. So I'm going to go with selfless, and I don't think anybody on the court plays for themselves. I think we play for the community, for our coaches. I think we have so much trust in each other. We don't have a player that's like, I don't believe the others can do it. Give me the ball every time. Like, we don't have that. We don't have selfish players. Like, we're just all about the team and everybody else.
This may seem like dumb, but like, I think we're all like pretty funny. And like, even like, I don't even know what game it was. It was either like Philo or Maysville or something like that. Coach was like, we came to the huddle. She was like, why are you guys like not making this fun? Like, this is just like boring watching this. So like, every point we came in, like, had a dance, and it was just like, it made it so much fun. And now like, we all remember that, and it's just like something to look back on. So yeah.
I agree. You're very fun to watch too, all of you.
It's not really a descriptive word, but I'd say legacy. I think all 4 years we just focused on that, not only with, like, sure, the state runner-up is an incredible accomplishment, but I think all of us would agree we want to be remembered by the way that we loved each other, we played for each other, we displayed selflessness, integrity, like, we just stayed together until the very end, like, down 24-14 in that championship game, like, you saw us lose, and we just came right back together. Like, we just couldn't be torn apart. So I think that's what we want other people to know about us.
We've said it before, and I'll say it again, resilience. I'm just so proud of our team being able to fight back in any situation. I don't know how many games this year we were down 2-0 and came back. I can't believe that. Some of these games, like you said, I literally don't know, but in that moment, we just were able to say, okay, we're going to flip the switch and we're going to get this done. That can be in the court and also like out of the court, and like us and we wanting to make sure we put each other first and, putting the team first. And we really just made sure that we were resilient all the way through and coming back. So yeah.
Well, I'm not really good with descriptive words, so all I can think about is love and friendship, but that's all I think about really with this team. Like, we all have been friends since the 8th grade, 7th grade, back to elementary and everything, so it's just crazy that this is our last year. And this being our last year, we really just took the love to the next level, and we loved each other throughout every moment and lived it to the fullest.
Okay, Coach, what do you want the community to remember most about these seniors?
I just really want them to remember them as individuals that just walked in excellence. I know that's something that I always talk to them about, is like, anything that you do, like, let's do it to the best of our abilities, right? Like, if it's, picking up trash, like, do it to the best of your ability, putting away nets, like, doing that, academics, playing on the court, lifting, like, just everything. And so I feel like these guys, like, just so incredible. Like, they are the top in everything that they do, right? Most of them have, I think, a 5.0 or like nearly a 5.0 or something over a 4.0. Just incredible, in the academic world, but like in their community, they're giving so much back to, the organizations that they're a part of and volunteer hours. Obviously phenomenal volleyball players that they were, but like truly even more incredible human beings. And so that's what I just want them to remember, is that they, no matter what area it was, like, they truly were just trying to walk in excellence. So.
And one last question, and we're going to go down the line again. If you could each say one thank you to a specific coach, teammate, family member, or a fan, who would it be and why?
Oh, give me a hand, Jen. Want to go back this? Yeah. I feel like we're all going to say Coach Wolf. Yeah, Coach Wolf, like, is more than a coach, and anybody that has the privilege of playing underneath her, like, knows that, like, she genuinely cares about, like, your mental health, like, how your body's doing and stuff. And it's not just, like, about volleyball. Like, she understands, like she said, like, she focused on, like, how we ticked and how we worked and stuff. And, like, when I was going through, like, one of, like, the worst times, I, like, just remember, like, the only person that I could, like, talk to or open up to was her. And, like, it's just so special that, like, a coach can, like, do that for you, like, be there on, like, that level for you. So I would say thank you to her.
Yeah. Thank you. Like Jorja said, I think we're all going to say Coach Wolf, myself included. 8th grade, freshman, sophomore year, I was here for the vibes. I was literally nothing more. I was kept on the team because you were funny and you made practice fun and stuff, and I had no desire to be anything more than that. And then we had a conversation, like a tough one, my sophomore year, and she's like, you have to step it up, you have to do that. And that didn't just change me, like, oh, in volleyball, like, yeah, but it gave me so much more confidence, like knowing somebody cared, somebody like thought you could do more than what you were capable of. And I think that changed me as a person as a whole, and like gave me so much more confidence to like to walk throughout life with.
Give you a hug too, but you're kind of
Yeah, along with them, like Coach Wolf was just like, I don't even know. It's just like
You're Coach Wolf. I know. This group is Coach Wolf. Everybody is Coach Board after them. Yeah.
just like back to the down 0-2 thing. Like we get in the huddle, she's just like smiling, like she just like knows we can do it, and like there's no doubt at all. And then like I just want to shout out one of the fans, like Miss Mara, like let's go back to cry. Like every time, like after like regional finals, like she was just like there. She just came up to me and started crying, and it's just like, I don't know, it just shows how much like support we have and how much she loves us. So,
I just want you to know, this is what happened when I gave her a hug the other night at rehearsal. It was just like instant.
Can't look at her.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down the line too and just say, Coach Wolf.
I feel obligated, I think.
I think we all thought that immediately, but genuinely, she told me basically like what she wanted me to be my freshman year and the kind of person she wanted me to be, and I never believed her. Honestly, I never believed I was capable of ever coming out of my shell, of ever like even doing something like this. It would have freaked me out. But she just completely, like, she says we bought into the program and her, but she bought into each one of us, and and it was truly like, I don't know, incredible. And I genuinely don't think I can thank her. I don't think I can thank this program enough. Like, I'm gonna pass the
Well, I'm gonna go again and go to Coach Board. I'm so lucky I have the privilege to be able to play volleyball the next 4 years, if I'm lucky, but it's not gonna be the same without Coach. You're like the only coach that's been my coach. Like, I think I'm gonna call you Coach probably the rest of my life, because in every single moment, even you've always been there, and you've been somebody I can look up to, somebody that I want to be like when I grow up. Well, I am, you know what I mean. But, I take it back to 6th grade, 5th grade, when you started in the program. I mean, we were up there at like 6 a.m. doing lifts, and like you always wanted to see your program succeed, and you wanted the best for every single person here. And you've really built this program like on your back. I know you had help from everybody and so many great coaches that we have, and I'm so thankful for. But yeah, just the connections that you've been able to make, and like you said, like you wanted to see like what frustrated us. You wanted to dive deep into what made us how we played and try to help that in any single way. So I'm just so thankful, and I just don't really know what it's going to be like next year without you, but I mean, I'm just like, I'm thankful for everything that you've done. Sorry, I'm going to pass the mic.
Okay, so we all, like I said, like Gracie said, we all thought of Coach Wolf, so Coach Wolf and my mom, but I'm going to start with Coach Wolf. So like Chloe said, 6 a.m. workouts as 6th graders was crazy, but we all loved Coach Wolf, and we knew we loved her, and she loved us, and she's made that known ever since we were young, and that really just showed us that we were enough, and that really made us feel like that. And my mom also, because she does so much for our team, and she makes it known with me. She is always caring about like what we need, and she's just an amazing supporter for us.
Well, the legacy you guys have left behind is truly incredible. I mean, these trophies will always be in the trophy case, but what's next for each of you? What are your plans after graduation?
Oh,
Here you go.
I plan on, career, like, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, please cut that out. Okay, I plan on going to Columbus State and becoming a surgical technician, and like I hope to work in like a labor and delivery surgical technician position, but
People ask me this question, I keep saying OU. I've still yet to turn in any college applications because I put everything off to the last minute. But ideally that, and going into nursing, and just, I'd like to work in the ICU.
Probably going to OU, and I want to become an early childhood education teacher. Probably kindergarten.
Bless her heart.
More than likely OU too. I want to become a nurse and become a pediatric oncology nurse. Hopefully coach volleyball in the future one day too, maybe.
I'm going to Mount Vernon Nazarene University, and I have the privilege of playing volleyball. I'm so excited. I'm going to major in exercise science and hopefully go to grad school to become a physical therapist. I'm really excited, but like Gracie said, volleyball is certainly something that has impacted me, and I want to stay in it, whether that be becoming an official, a coach, something, because I love this sport and I don't know how I'm going to do without it. So, and I've just learned so much, and I want to be able to coach like the next generations as well and see how they improve. And I'm also just because I want to be like Coach Board. I'm just so thankful, and just making sure that also volleyball is part of my life as well. But yeah, thank you.
I'm going to go to Paul Mitchell Hair School, and I want to be a hairstylist, makeup artist, esthetician, everything, and then one day own my own salon.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Congratulations, and we're going to send it to you, Sam. Take it away.
It's my favorite part. Every time.
Thank you so much, Sam. I'm Sam Rupe. I'm here with JB, Coach Board, and Terrelle King, and we're going to be talking about football.
Terrelle, last year you had to watch from the sideline due to an injury. Now you're back and playing a major role on both sides of the football. How did the last season change your mindset and the way you approach the game now?
Well, I had a lot of good people to look up to, like Talon, Binkley. I had Finley to look up to. All of them had my best interests, telling me what to do on the sideline, giving me opportunities, giving me game reps, so that helped a lot.
Well, Coach, the road back from an injury is never easy. What has impressed you most about the way that Terrelle has worked his way back into being such an impact player this season?
It's been huge. Terrelle would have been a big piece for us last year in some special teams and as a role guy. He's a dynamic kid. He's hardworking. He's athletic. And as you see this year, he's popping off the scene when you're watching the film. So, him being able to come back this year and be at full strength, he's been very, very documented having very fragile bones. Terrelle's had some fragile bones here in his life, so it's good that his bones have been protected. We got some extra bubble wrap for him this year, but he's been an impact player for us on both sides of the football, primarily defense, but he adds another layer to our offense of some different things that you have to look for as the other team. So he's done a great job, and obviously he's had an impact. He's an all-district player this year, so sky's the limit for where he gets to in another year.
All right, so Terrelle, our football team last week just put a major shutout against Fairfield Union, 39-0. What did the team do well defensively that allowed you guys to completely control that game?
Oh, we all did our assignment, what we were coached to do. That's what got it done.
Well, Coach, a shutout at any level says something about discipline and execution. What stood out to you about the defense's preparation and focus last week?
It's been the same every week, Sam. The defensive guys really take pride in doing their job. We've done a fantastic job. I think still have not allowed over 1,000 total pass or rush yards for the season. So through 11 games to not have that is it's fantastic. Harrison and Tanner do a really good job of setting everybody up in the middle. But like we said, we had that extra week, that bye week, that really helped to sharpen up our techniques. And so I think that was very beneficial. And we saw that on Friday, that not only were we refreshed, but technically sound. You have a team that runs the ball primarily, and we held them to under 50 rush yards. So I think that's a great deal by our defense and our staff getting those guys prepared for that game. But I'm just very impressed, and like Terrelle said, we really preach do your 1/11th. Each guy has their one job they need to do, and when everybody does their own job and not have to worry about trying to cover up for somebody else, then we're going to execute at a high level.
Also, the one and only Doug Clifford texted me this question. He said, were you surprised at all to see Fairfield Union running a 4-4 defense, running cover 3? Because Doug said that he was stunned, especially knowing your stance on whether or not changing defensive schemes week by week.
They kind of mix and match. They do some cover 3, but based on some of the formations, we knew going in that their adjustment was to roll a safety down and play more of a cover 3 look. So there's some things that we were trying to do to exploit that. But they also played some man-to-man. So like I said, the more games you get, the more comfortable you get, the more you can add. And so we knew that we weren't just going to see the same static coverage that we saw week 1. We saw a couple of different things. We saw some man-to-man, we saw some cover 3, we saw some quarters. So to be able to have answers for all those, I thought was good. That it's not locking in to say, hey, here's what we're going to do. So having different options. So no, it didn't really surprise me. They played a little bit of that. Excuse me, week 1 a little bit, but it was more of a formational thing. But like I said, we ended up getting some man-to-man looks, which was not something we had really prepared for. But also injuries can kind of dictate some of those things. I know they had a couple of players that were out that, like we said, guys get beat up along the way. So sometimes you have to use, the guys that you have and what skill sets they have and utilize them the best way you can.
So Terrelle, this upcoming Friday, we have the undefeated Unioto coming into the Rock. What's the mindset going into this game?
Play like every other game. We do what we need to do, get out of there healthy, get out of there clean.
Well, Unioto coach is physical, disciplined, and used to winning this season. For example, at Paint Valley, according to Max Preps, they put up 35 points in the first quarter and ended up winning 71-6. What's the biggest key for your group to make them face some of their first adversity this season and also be ready to put some points on the board early on with a team that always starts off hot?
I think we've been another team that also starts off hot. We've had a lot of games where we're up by 20, 30 points in the first quarter. We've had a lot of running clocks. I think our schedule has helped prepare us for some of these moments. We play in the Tri-Valleys, the Sheridans, the Philos, Fairfield Union. Half of our schedule is playoff teams, and so I think the caliber of team that you're playing in, iron sharpens iron. So when you're playing those good teams, that's going to cause you to have to play at your best. Unioto is a great team. They've been a very high-ranked team the last couple of years. So we've got to take them very serious. Offensively, they do a lot of things that we do. They do a lot of different formations, but they have their base core concepts and core formations. That those are really what we focused on yesterday. Today we'll add in some of their accessory formations and things that they do. Defensively, they're very similar to Fairfield Union in the schematics of what they're doing, the structure of their defense. But they're a little bit more aggressive than Fairfield Union. They send a little bit more pressure, a little different coverages. But they're athletic. They're aggressive. So a team that hasn't lost, a lot of times has a higher sense of belief in who they are and what they can do. So I think we just have to come out and do what we've done the last several weeks, which is just play great defense and get put some points up when we have the football.
This was another question from the great Doug Clifford. He asked if Unioto is a blitz-heavy team or a cover-heavy team in past situations.
They do a little bit of both. A lot of the teams in their league don't throw it a lot. A lot of their games are run-heavy, run-centric. I mean, they probably throw more than a lot of the teams down there. So being able to get on film what we might see is tough to really get because we've seen some different schematics that really don't match up to what we do. So they do send a lot of pressure. They play a 4-3. They're going to send pressure with 1 or 2 linebackers a lot of time. Coverage-wise, they're mixed. They don't just sit in one coverage. And again, when you're a good team, you don't. You mix and match. That way, you're not stuck in one thing where a team can attack you. So they're going to play some man-to-man. They're going to play some coverage, but they're very similar to Fairfield Union in the overall structure of their defense. So it's something that we're familiar with. They've had some injuries as well, so they might change coming into this game what they want to do and how they want to play us. But that's where the chess match comes in. So that's what makes it fun. So we've got to be able to go out and kind of see what they're doing early and then adjust what we do based off of that.
Well, Doug said if Coach Board says yes, he may be a candidate for the LSU coaching job.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you.
So, Terrelle, we know you play outside linebacker, which is a tone-setting position. How will you use your physicality against the attitude and energy of this team?
Well, I have the mindset of you hit them first, hit them harder, and they're not going to want to hit you any longer. So I just use that to my advantage because I feel like I'm a pretty physical person, and I usually take that out there with me.
Well, Coach, this junior class, including Terrelle, has just been incredible leadership-wise, athleticism, and mindset-wise. How have you seen them grow and influence the locker room during this season?
That's been tremendous, man. When you have great player leaders, as coaches, you can kind of step back and let the players take hold of the team, and that's when you see your greatest amounts of success. We had a lot of that last year. This year we have a great group of seniors that do that as well, but we also have some seniors that are, the lead by example type. So you always need a couple of guys to step up into that vocal role, and we do a leadership study in the off season with our upcoming guys that want to, and try to get them in position where they feel comfortable talking, finding out how they can lead and in what way they're best suited to lead. This is the junior class that you asked about specifically, though. They've been a very talented class since probably, third grade maybe. Everybody knew what this class was going to be. There's talent just everywhere. And so those guys have not just harnessed their talent, but also the ability to be leaders and speak up and be those guys that we need them to be in the locker room. And, like I said, when we have great player leadership, then, there's things that we as coaches don't have to do as much of. And Terrell's more likely to listen to his teammate because that's his buddy. That's the guy he's playing with and beside. So when players are holding players accountable, some great things will happen.
So, Terrelle, last year you had to lead on the sideline with your voice. Sorry.
Get your muscles out.
Now, this year you get to play and lead by example. How will that change your leadership from then and now?
Well, like I said earlier, I had Nicholas Finley to look up to last year on the sideline, so I want to give that younger guy below me the chance to look up to somebody. Like, if they have questions, I'm there to answer it. Show them how to do it, what it's supposed to be like to be a leader. So, like that, yeah.
Well, Coach, big games are often decided in the small moments, the responsive plays, the next snap mentality. What are you emphasizing to your team heading into Friday night?
Just that, man. Next play is the most important play. That's something we preach every week. Yesterday we talked a lot about grit, perseverance, and resilience. That this time of year there's not going to be any bad teams, so the margin of error is getting smaller, the amount of mistakes that you can make is getting smaller, and so when you face those moments of adversity, being able to play within yourself and stick together and come through those together. We talked the volleyball team, man, a great example of what that looks like. They went down 0-2 in the state semis, came back in their huddle and was not a look of doubt or fear in their eyes. They were just ready to go out and play, and they clawed themselves back. And so like I said, if we can stay together and play our game, even if something bad does happen or a little moment of adversity, which we have to expect, then being able to step up and play the next play is going to be important. So that's something that we've really been talking about.
So, Terrelle, if you had to describe this team with just one word, what would it be, and how would this word fit the group?
Passion. So we're very passionate about what we do. I mean, we set out a goal for ourselves at the beginning of the season last year, and we followed through with it. We're following through with it now. So we just want to be very passionate about what we do.
Well, finally, Coach, what should Panther Nation know about the heart of this team heading into Friday night and what they're playing for when they take the field?
It's an awesome opportunity that we've got to host 2 playoff games at our home stadium. We don't have to travel. We don't have to get a bus. We don't have to leave early. So it's been great to be at our home place. Our seniors, when they do their senior walk week 10, you're hoping that they get a walk-off victorious. And, unfortunately, we weren't able to this year when we played Sheridan week 10. So the last moment that they had on the field was a loss, and if we weren't in the playoffs, that's the last memory that they have. And so last week we were able to combat that. This week's another opportunity for them to walk off victorious and be able to hold their heads high, that they left their hometown with a win before you move on to a neutral site. So you've got a group of guys that care about each other, they care about the product they're putting on the field, they care about the success that they're having, and are just looking forward to stepping out on the field Friday with a ruckus crowd, ready to create an environment for an undefeated team coming into our place that this is our house and we're ready to protect it.
Well, speaking of the environment, Terrelle, what's your message to the fans, to the community heading into Friday night's game?
Be there, be loud, honestly. It helps us a lot. Like crowd control, just like in NCAA, the stadium pulse, it helps. It really does.
Yeah, it does. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for watching, and best of luck. Go Panthers.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
J-Biz.